Welcome back, I'm Elena. In this video, I'll be covering the underlying reason of why you're experiencing a stressful work environment and what you can do about it right now. So stay tuned. I'll be showing you how the thing you think is really the stressor isn't really the stressor. Next, I'll reveal what the real stressor is and how to clear it. Next, we'll go over the 4 ways that you can start running your business with ease and grace. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools that you need to start setting yourself up for greater success. So let's dive in. So now there's some external trigger that has seemingly, I'm going to say, caused you some level of stress, right? An external trigger has happened. Maybe it's a certain bill that came in, or maybe your car needs a repair, or something of that that's caused a stress in your life, or maybe you're having team issues, whatever it is. What's really going on, the internal trigger, is the meaning that you're making out of that external trigger. So whatever happened, let's say you're having team issues. I can tell you that this happened with me, like literally I was just doing this yesterday. And so I was stressing about a particular team member and what I was going to have to do. And then I realized I'm creating this stress by the meaning I'm giving this. I'm making this mean that it's going to be hard to fix this issue. And it doesn't need to be hard. It can be really easy, but the meaning that I was giving, it's going to be hard to fix this, was what was causing me stress. It wasn't the problem in the first place. We are meaning-making machines, and we are always making meaning out of experiences. And when we have that external trigger, we have to understand that the internal trigger, the stress itself, is really being caused by the meaning that we're making. And that meaning is also based completely on your past paradigm. You've been conditioned to think a certain way by your limiting beliefs, and those limiting beliefs that are going on in your subconscious mind are what's creating the meanings that you're overlaying on those external triggers. Now, typically, money is the biggest external stressful trigger that people have. The second is probably stress. They may be stress in relationships, might be tied there. But the first one is typically money. And the reason that people are so stressed is the underlying reason, again, the meaning, is a fear of failure, a fear of rejection, a fear that you're not enough, a fear that you don't have enough time, or a fear that there's too much work. So as I was talking about before, and I was saying these meanings are basically derived from the limiting beliefs in our subconscious mind, the key is to learn how to clear those limiting beliefs in the first place, right? And I put out tons of great content on how to do just that, so you want to go check out some of the other content where I talk about how to shift your mindset, because in those videos I will help you understand how to shift your limiting beliefs so that you go from a scarcity belief into an abundance mindset. Now, here's the thing, when you have a limiting belief, let's say the limiting belief is a fear of failure. If you have this limiting belief, then what happens is your circumstances keep showing you failure and over and over again until you deal with the limiting belief. Our circumstances are lessons that we need to learn to essentially clear the limiting beliefs. There is a much faster way. I teach my clients a much faster way to clear that limiting belief, so you don't have to get the lesson the hard way. You can get the lesson from awareness, but there is something there that the universe is trying to teach you, so you can finally get the truth about yourself and about life, so you don't have to keep repeating that pattern and circumstance over and over and over again. Now, one of the ways to create a less stressful work environment is to actually take breaks during the day. This is so key. And when I help my clients take breaks, this isn't like I take a 10-minute break, but I'm checking my phone and my email the whole time. That does not alleviate stress. That probably causes more stress. It may be a stretch break, and I would highly recommend, especially depending on where you live in the country, but I highly recommend that you go outside and you spend a few minutes in nature, even in the sun if you have a chance, and it will help refuel your energy. And when you're refueled, then when you return to working, you will feel so much less stress. For so many people, part of the reason they're feeling so much stress in their business is because they've allowed their business to claim their life, right? So what you want to do is reclaim your life from your business. Your business is there to serve you. You're not there to serve it. You do that by setting clear boundaries around work and personal life. The more that you can set clear boundaries around your work and personal life, the more you will reclaim your life. Now, you may be saying, Elena, I have so much to do. How can I set clear boundaries around that? Well, then you want to keep listening to this, because I will tell you exactly how to do that. I really love to help entrepreneurs lead their businesses with ease and grace and stay in flow and get out of that hustle. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest content, so you'll know exactly when those videos drop. So another key to get out of stress is self-care practices. I have a client, she was working all the time, and she had actually managed to work all the time very well. Actually, I have 2 clients who do this because of their self-care practices, because they have a morning routine that's so important to them that they do their meditation, they do their movement, they do yoga, whatever it is. They have a morning practice, and it allows them, it has up until they started working with me, allowed them to work long hours. Now that they're working with me, they're no longer working long hours, but up until that point, having that routine allowed them to step into less stress in their business. One of the things that causes stress actually is multitasking. We tend to think there was this big thing, I guess it was in the 90s, or maybe it was even the 2000s, that multitasking made us more effective. It actually doesn't. It makes you 40% less effective. So stop multitasking. When you take on a project, focus on that project, right? Focus on that project until it gets to a certain point. What happens when you start multitasking is you start going into different spheres of your brain, start moving around different spheres of your brain, and then your brain has to recalibrate to go back to the original project. And so it's far less effective. So really just keep your focus and attention on one thing in particular until that task is complete, and then move on to the next one. Now, this is a concept that's going to sound way out there, and this is something I've been teaching my clients for a long time. And then I recently heard Gay Hendricks call it Einstein time, and I love that idea. So we actually create linear time. Linear time does not exist in reality. I mean, it exists in our reality because we've created it, but essentially all time exists in the now. Past, present, and future exist in the now. That is from quantum physics. But we as humans have created linear time. So what Einstein time is essentially understanding that you create time. Right? Time starts from inside of you. And the way that I'm going to put this to you is like, have you ever had the experience of doing something that you love to do and time just seems to like really pass quickly? It's like, where did all the time go? You were loving what you were doing. You were so passionate about what you were doing. It sped by. And now you're working on something that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this. And it's snail-paced time, right? Same time, right? What changed? You. That's all that changed was you. You control time. Time starts inside of you. So stop being a victim to time and stop complaining. I would say go on a diet of time complaints. And here's what those might look like. If only I'd gotten another hour of sleep. You're a victim to time. Wish I had time to chat, but I'm in a hurry. I've got a lot of things to do. Victim to time. Where did the time go? There just aren't enough hours in the day to get everything done. I don't have time to do that right now. Now, this is an interesting, actually they're all interesting and I could take them all apart, but this is an interesting one because let's say you have children, and let's say your children, and if you don't have children, just play along with me for a minute and you'll understand. But let's say you have young children, and all of a sudden a child comes to you and says, hey, Mom and Dad, I want to play with you. Can you play now? And you're like, sorry, honey, I've got this really important deadline I need to make, and I can't play right now. Essentially, you've just said the same thing. But then that child comes to you, and they've cut themselves open, and they're bleeding. And they're like, hey, Mom and Dad, can you help me? Are you not going to stop the same exact thing that you were doing, that you had a deadline for, and go help them? So do you really not have that time? Or are you choosing not to have that time? Again, it is your choice. Time starts from within you. So now I was telling you before about a way that you can learn how to collapse time. In fact, shave 20 to 30 hours off of your work week. And you can do that by grabbing my free mini course, 5 ways to shave 20 to 30 hours of your work week while making more money. And it will not only help you ditch the stress in your business, but it will help you collapse time so you can get far more done in less time. And if you don't believe it, I can tell you I do this with all my clients clients. There is not one single one of my clients that after working with me works more than 40 hours a week. Most of them work 30 unless they choose to, and it's possible for you too. These are the same exact tools that my high-end clients pay me upwards of $50,000 to teach them in a condensed version. And it's yours, absolutely free. So go grab it right now. Thanks, I'm Elena, and I'll see you in the next video.